evening. I am Landry Silhan, and this is
Jocelyn Payne.
And tonight we are diving into the horrifying truth behind the zombie outbreak that has taken the world by storm. While the media has sensationalized the term zombie, it is essential we look deeper into what is truly happening inside the brain of these creatures. Let's break down the symptoms and what brain regions are responsible for their unsettling behaviors. The truth may be more terrifying than fiction.
First, let's talk about the unmistakable behavior that defines a zombie. The way they walk, their sluggish movements, and their nearly robotic-like persistence. This is a result of an impaired basal ganglia, the part of the brain responsible for coordinating voluntary movements. While their movement is still possible, it's uncoordinated, jerky, and slow. Their brains still send signals to their muscles, but those signals are distorted and incomplete.
Balance is also an issue. Zombies are constantly teetering, arms stretch out as they shuffle along. This dysfunction comes from the cerebellum, the part of the brain that helps maintain balance and fine motor coordination. In zombies, the cerebellum is severely compromised, which is why they can't walk properly and need to steady themselves with their hands.
And that constant hunger you see, it's not a coincidence. The hypothalamus, which controls basic urges like hunger and thirst, is overactive in zombies. This region drives a constant need to feed. But what's even more chilling, the hypothalamus also means they don't feel pain. Zombies can lose limbs or suffer severe injuries, but they won't stop because their hunger, their primal drive to feed, is unrelenting.
Then there's their eerie lack of memory. Zombies seem to forget everything except for their singular goal, to hunt. This memory loss can be traced back to the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for forming new memories. Without it functioning properly, zombies have no long-term memory. They remember what is in front of them for just moments before moving on, completely forgetting what happened seconds before.
What's more, zombies can see, and potentially even have heightened senses. The occipital lobe, which handles visual processing, is still functional, but it seems to be more focused on detecting movement. Zombies are always on the lookout for their next meal, and their heightened sense of vision may make them especially dangerous in the dark.
But even with functioning senses, there is a sense of confusion. Zombies often misjudge their surroundings, unable to make sense of their environment. That is where the parietal lobe comes into play. The parietal lobe integrates sensory information from the environment, but in zombies it is impaired, leaving them with a distorted understanding of body awareness and their environment.
As for their decision-making, well, forget it. Zombies lack the ability to reason. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and complex thought, is practically non-existent in zombies. They don't plan, they don't strategize, they simply react based on their core instincts, hunger and the drive to feed.
Now let's talk about their speech, or rather, the lack of it. Zombies can grunt and groan, but they can't form words or sentences. This is because two critical areas of the brain, Broca's area and Wernicke's area, are completely damaged. Broca's area is responsible for speech production, while Wernicke's area is used for understanding language. Without both functioning properly, zombies are left unable to communicate in any meaningful way.
Yet despite all of this, zombies never stop moving, never stop searching. They don't rest. That's because the reticular formation, the area of the brain that controls sleep and alertness, is constantly active, keeping them in a hyper-alert, never-sleeping state. They're always on the hunt.
And finally, there's their amygdala, the brain center for fear and emotion. It's completely shut down. This is why zombies feel no fear, no remorse, no hesitation. They are driven solely by one instinct, to feed. Nothing else matters to them.
As the zombie outbreak continues to spread, we are left to ask, how much of this strange, horrific behavior is actually tied to our own biology?